Hello, and please so welcome to Talk About Men, where our mission is to defend against bellends. Today's instalment is on the topic of shut the fuck up. So I was still seeing Dick, the sex pest. His exploitation would no longer work as I was no longer under the influence of my bipolar, so he went to manipulation instead of my desire to be his friend and so on, and various manipulative tactics. I was seeing a therapist and I said to her that I no longer wanted to do this group sex with men at the cinema now that I'd come down. And she said, well, you should tell him that you don't want to do this. So I said to him that I've been doing things I don't want to do. He was furious and confronted me in anger, made like a standoff, making me sit on a bench opposite him while he confronted me. Demanded that I be authentic and don't lie. Trying to please someone isn't lying, it's just what people do. Well, what I would do, because that's how I was brought up. So, yeah, confronting me, a person like me, in anger is the last thing that you should do if you want us to be authentic, because if someone's angry with us, we'll carry on trying to please them even more. And also I had just been authentic by telling him I didn't want to do this thing. Another thing he used to do is get me to keep my flat door open while we were having sex. This is because he loved the fantasy of thinking someone would come in and join in, or someone might be watching or whatever. The therapist said to me, well, that I'm the only one, as it was my flat, that was going to face negative consequences from this, from my neighbours hearing or seeing anything that was going on and so on. It had no potential repercussions for him. I never told him that I didn't want to do that. So I put on a bit of weight, and I no longer wanted to be at the cinema naked with all these men. So we thought, oh, maybe if I wore a basque, I would be more keen to go to the cinema for the group sex. So he gave me £20 to buy a basque that I could wear. He gave me this money. Gave being the operative word. I brought a basque. The only one that I particularly liked was £45. So he had put 25 in and I put 20 in. But I didn't tell him that for some reason. So again, he had a standoff opposite me. He loved that, I think, or maybe it just felt that way to me. But he was going, because I felt that I still didn't want to go to the cinema. I just didn't want it, despite we'd tried this. Okay, he'd brought me this thing. We had brought this thing for me to see if it helped, but it didn't. And he said, well, I feel I gave you that money under false pretenses, and got really arsy with me. And I didn't say anything in response, but neither did I apologise, because I had nothing to apologise more for. That money was a gift. I'd put in virtually half myself, and that was a gift. It wasn't given with an obligation that, oh, now you must go to the cinema. I've given you this £20, therefore you must go. It was something that we tried, and so no, still wasn't for me. I wasn't under any sort of obligation to go just because he wanted to. As I didn't want to, I didn't consent to that. So eventually he said, oh, okay, let's see the money as a gift. I hadn't said anything. Of course, the money was a gift all along anyway. As I hadn't replied, he had to acknowledge that this wasn't okay. Sorry, I'm getting long-winded. I should stick to my notes. His other girlfriend, Susie, he was always trying to make me have a threesome with her. She was in her 60s, so 20 years older than me, and I didn't find her attractive. He knew that I didn't want this. I didn't consent to this. I didn't want this. He even tried us both going around there to see if I wanted to do this, and I didn't. while they like had sex in front of me, which is fine, but just an awkward situation slightly. So then he knew I didn't want to do this, and he went, "Ooh, would you have a threesome with me and Susie for my birthday?" So of course then you've got the obligation, like the feeling that you should please someone as it's their birthday. So luckily his birthday was a few months in advance. So I said, "Oh, okay," or something. I agreed to it and pretended to be like, I don't know, okay with it. As it got nearer the time, still like 2 months before, I said to him, "Well, no, I don't actually want to do that." I had to say that because I so much didn't want to do that. He said, "The only reason I'm seeing Susie is because she likes a certain thing sexually that you don't." I realised later maybe that was a form of manipulation. He was trying to make me think, oh, if I did the thing, like he wouldn't be seeing this other woman or whatever. But it went straight over my head because I just thought at the time, well, fair enough. I don't want that, so you can go elsewhere for that. So I think that might have been one of his tactics, but it didn't work. One time I was talking to him about something like serious but optimistic, just chatting, because as far as I was concerned, we were friends. The sex was just a like crap thing that happened to go along with it, happened to go alongside the friendship, which was what I wanted. So I was chatting to him, having a conversation. I paused like you do for him to reply, and he goes, "That's good, now suck my cock." So he thought that was all I was there for, and I did it to please him. I didn't go, "Fuck off, we're having a conversation and you think that you can talk to me like that." He would also say about his other girlfriend Susie that she talked too much while they should be having sex. We're human, you know. We're not just about sex. He would say, "Ooh, will you go to the cinema for £40? This we discussed as sort of a kink. It wasn't like trying to like buy me as a prostitute as such, except as like a kinky thing. But he would keep nagging, keep nagging, keep nagging, keep saying the same things when I'd said no, 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 or no, I don't want it. I'd made it clear I didn't want this cinema thing, and many other things. He said, maybe you could have therapy to like a certain sex act that I didn't like, as a lot of women like it, and you could be missing out. This sounded like bollocks to me because, like, you know, it wasn't a problem to me that I didn't like this thing. I could like enjoy myself in other ways. So he went on and on and on, asking and asking and asking. And then he said, "There's nothing wrong with asking for what I want." Because he was a therapist and kind of a charmer, he made it sound like saying there's nothing wrong with asking for what I want was like perfectly reasonable. That asking again and again and again when a woman said no is okay. It's not okay. And to an extent, I realised this. So, yes, that was the sort of thing that he would play at. Absolutely ridiculous. Fuck off. Shut the fuck up. Thank you for listening to me talk about men. Please comment, subscribe, share and like. If you have a story to tell, you can email the link in the description.